Good morning, my name is Rodney and I'll be going through a webinar about Costa Rica in Central America for you this morning. This is one of the series of Contours Travel regular webinars. Okay. As we go through, a little bit about Contours Travel. Contours has been operating for over 40 years now, originally started by Ted and continuing to offer tours, packages, programs throughout South and Central America. Central America is where we'll be focusing today with Costa Rica. Okay, Costa Rica is a country in Central America, has a population of just under 5 million people, so very small, relatively small in the grand scheme of things. You can see the sign there which says Pura Vida, which is the unofficial motto of Costa Rica, basically meaning pure life. Okay, they get that because the country is essentially all about nature. Okay, it's full of national parks, volcano, lakes, forest, and a wealth of activities to take in. You can see where it sits here in South America with the capital San Jose located right in the center of the country and connecting to Panama and to the north Nicaragua, further on to Honduras, Guatemala and Mexico. Okay, so it is well serviced in regards to getting there. Flying into the capital, San Jose. Flights are possible from the neighbouring countries, Nicaragua and Panama, also from North America, from Miami, from the likes of Dallas, Los Angeles, and down to South America, Bogota, Lima, also operating direct flights. Okay, you can see where San Jose, as I mentioned, sitting there. You can see the chain of mountains going through the country, and San Jose is in what they call the Central Valley. You can see the three-toed sloth there with a little baby, which I've seen plenty of in my many visits to Costa Rica. Okay, so as I went through, the flights in from various parts and areas of the country, and any time is a good time to go to Costa Rica. Okay, you've got the dry season and the wet season, but essentially it doesn't matter because whilst it can be dry season on one side of the country, it can be wet season on the other side of the country due to the location, as I mentioned, with the Caribbean coast and also the Pacific coast. It can vary. Okay, so the country in itself is known and famous for its national parks, which you can see dotted all over the country, through the centre of the country, Tortuguero National Park down on the coast, down towards Manuel Antonio, Monteverde, Arenal. Okay, so there's a wealth of national parks of which it's famous for, and famous for bird watching, for nature, for the coast, the Caribbean and the Pacific. Okay, so this is just some of the national parks that are located in the country. When coming into the country, people tend to use San Jose as a gateway, although there is another international airport with flights from the United States, which is Liberia Airport in the Guanacaste or the northern Pacific coastal area of the country. Coming into San Jose, a typical stay will be one night in San Jose, basically using it as a hub to go off and explore the country. Sometimes as you're traveling from the Pacific to the Caribbean, you'll be passing through San Jose to get there, but normally one night at the start and one night at the end is sufficient in San Jose. Okay, there's a variety of different hotel styles, anything we can cater from 3 right through to 5-star and everything in between. This is just a selection of some of the hotels that we use, be it from estancias on the edge of the city to colonial type of buildings or more luxurious hotels. The Grano de Oro in Costa Rica generally refers to the coffee bean, the golden bean, which coffee is such an important export product of Costa Rica, and they produce some of the world's finest. Okay, so as if we were to set off, a normal time frame in Costa Rica will vary. Ideally, over a week. If you've got around 10 days, you can get a good look at the country. One of my favourite places is the Tortuguero National Park, which is on the Caribbean coast. So the packages that we operate down to there offer transportation to from San Jose, and that is by road, and then 2 hours by boat through the series of canal systems down to the Caribbean coast and the little town of Tortuguero. This offers a opportunity to take in a wealth of wildlife, from the caiman to the frogs to the sloths, a variety of bird life. And then once you're down in Tortuguero National Park, this is an area that's famous for the nesting of the endangered green turtles. So going along at the night time, there are areas where you can go along and see the nesting and them going from the water up to where the nests are. So a great opportunity not only to see the tortoises, but a great deal of other wildlife in the area. The packages that we operate, which is normally a good time frame, is 3 days, 2 nights, with 2 nights spent at one of the different types of lodges there. They include all of your excursions, all of your accommodation and meals whilst you're in the Tortuguero area. So it's a very easy and simple program, and certainly a well worthwhile trip whilst in Costa Rica. Moving on from Costa Rica, another great place, and this ties in very well as in going from one place to the next place. When you come out of Tortuguero National Park, transportation is organised to take you onwards to the area of Arenal. Now, Arenal volcano is in the area. There's Arenal Lake, so basically the area is known as, ironically, Arenal. Okay, so this is probably the adventure, or one of the adventure capitals of Costa Rica. There's opportunities to walk around the volcano, to visit some of the waterfalls, lakes, the sky bridges, the walkway above the canopy. Also a variety of adventure activities, from rafting to canyoning to rappelling and kayaking, and basically everything in between. Okay, within the town, many of the hotels have volcano views looking out, and also because of the volcano, it is an active volcano, there are many hot springs in the area. So a lot of the pools are located in areas where you'll have access to the hot pools of the area. Moving on from Arenal, there's a beautiful way of transportation from Arenal to Monteverde, where you travel down to the edge of Lake Arenal, take a boat across Lake Arenal, and then onwards to Monteverde. Generally takes about an hour, about half a day to travel from one to the other. And once you reach to Monteverde, it's famous for the cloud forest there. And the cloud forest, very different because of its elevation, allows you to see a different side of Costa Rica that you won't see on the Caribbean coast or in the Arenal region. Okay, so in there's the opportunity to hike through the national park there with a guide, and certainly a highlight for the birders is the opportunity to see the quetzal bird. This is the native, or the national bird of Guatemala, but also seen regularly throughout Costa Rica. Okay, one of the things within the national park is they have a system of sky walkways. They have zip lining trails and pathways, or the sky tram that connects the different walkways, so you can travel through above the canopy, which will give a far better opportunity to see some of the birds there, from the quetzal to the hummingbirds to the toucans and a variety of other native birds to Central America. Okay, a variety of accommodations once more in Monteverde, basically most of them looking out to the surrounding mountain area, from 3 through to 5 star. Okay. From Monteverde, many people choose to travel down to the coast, and one of the most popular resorts or towns down on the coast is centered around the Manuel Antonio National Park. Okay, where I'm pointing the arrow now, that pretty much covers the national park. It's a spit out along the beach, and where you can walk around, you can see a variety of monkeys there. It's one of the smaller national park, bird life, sloths, so it's all confined in a very small area, and a little town which is on the coast there with some beautiful beaches. One of the things that I always liked about Manuel Antonio, and very unique, is this aeroplane that's sort of landed on the side of a hill. Bad piloting, I guess. It's Colombian Airlines, looking at the flag, and they've converted the inside of that into like a bar and a restaurant, so something very different. Okay, so in there, a variety of hotel accommodations, once again available, pools, looking out to the ocean. So easy place to relax and spend a couple of days. So reflecting on what we've done, normally you'd spend a night in San Jose, a couple of nights in Tortuguero, 3 nights is a good length or time frame in Arenal, and then 1 to 2 nights in Monteverde. So you're looking at about, and 2 nights in Manuel Antonio, so you're getting up around that 10-night time frame. If people have a little bit more time on their hands, they can travel north to the coastline up along the Pacific coast, where there's a variety of different beaches, quite popular, offering beautiful accommodation where people can have that sort of relaxing beach holiday and combine it with the nature and the different activities available throughout the country. Costa Rica, some of their more famous things is certainly the coffee beans, and there's a variety of haciendas or farms that you can visit where you can see the coffee growing, the processes from the picking to the grinding to the producing and the tasting of the famous grano de oro, or the golden bean. The country is also famous for its wildlife, with its poison arrow frogs, its tortoises, the sloths, the capuchin monkeys, and a variety of other bird life that you'll see throughout the country, from the toucans, the macaws, the quetzals, and much more. Okay, and if it's adventure that you want, Costa Rica is probably the country throughout Latin America, not just throughout Central America, that offers the highest variety. It is a safe destination to travel to. There's a lot of North American influence in Costa Rica. Many of the people who have gone down there, set up the companies, the adventure sporting companies of that origin, and as such they make sure that everything's taken care of and the highest possible safety standards are put in place. So for an activity and adventure and nature-filled holiday, you just can't go past Costa Rica as a wonderful destination. Okay, so I mentioned about tying in Tortuguero, Arenal Volcano, Monteverde, San Jose, and of course you can go down to Manuel Antonio or go to some of the northern beaches, or spend time in many of the national parks, including Corcovado down in the south. So anywhere between 7 nights is a minimum, up until 14 nights is probably a good time frame to visit Costa Rica, and certainly we can assist in putting together tailor-made itineraries to suit your clients' individual preferences. Okay, so Costa Rica in here, access to South America, access to Mexico, and also via Panama onwards to Cuba as well. So it can tie in as the link pin between various other touring destinations throughout the area. Okay, so we've got a variety of itineraries that are listed in our brochures, from active to extensions onto Nicaragua, neighboring Nicaragua or Panama, and of course the classic Costa Rica. So please don't hesitate to get in touch, and we can put together something special for you or your clients to visit this part of the world. Okay, so having 40 years experience in the area, or over 40 years experience, we like to think of ourselves as the pioneers and one of the certainly most knowledgeable tour operators covering Latin America, and we're happy to help however we can. Okay, now at the end of each webinar we have a question which puts you into a draw to win a place on a Famil to Latin America. Now the question for today is now I said at the start of the presentation, it was like the second slide, what is the unofficial motto of Costa Rica? Okay, basically it's the translation of pure life. If you send that through to contourstravel.com.au, send through your answer for those people who have been listening and watching the webinar today, and you'll go into the draw, obviously with the correct answer. And if anyone has any questions, please feel free to type them in, and I'll do my best to answer those. And if not, thank you very much for joining the webinar today, and I wish you all a very happy and safe weekend.